Hi everybody, welcome back to Cat's Book Nook. Today is November 12th, and this is going to be a Sunday weekly wrap-up video where I talk about what I read this week, what I picked up this week, what I am currently reading, and what I DNF'd this week. We'll start with the DNF because that's probably going to be the most unsignificant thing on this list. I did finally DNF the Passage audiobook. First part, if he'd have just stuck with the first story in that book where he talks about Amy and Wolfgast and gave this whole idea of, the government was responsible for bringing vampires into it, and then this whole kind of, virus epidemic, things like that. Great beginning story. I cared about Wolfgast. I cared about what happened with Amy. I cared about why Amy was there. I did not care for the second part. So I got 16 hours into that audiobook and I DNF'd it because I just did not care. And it takes a lot for me to DNF a book. I kind of want to DNF, see what I have done. It's not my style of book. I don't particularly care for it, but I'm almost halfway through, if not a little over halfway through. I don't want to DNF it because it's an interesting perspective into the Lizzie Borden murders. And did she actually kill her father and her stepmother, or did she not? Did her uncle have a hand in killing them? Did he not? That kind of book. Who did it? I want to know who did it. Did Lizzie actually have the mental capacity to pull off 2 murders, or did she not? That's what this book is set up for. The Passage, I didn't care. And then he's got 2 more books on top of it, and it's like, you could have just stopped with the first, 250 pages. I'd have been good. So if you've read The Passage, and if you've got any thoughts on which way you feel, if you want to share your thoughts on which way you feel about that book, I would love to hear them in the comment section down below, because I couldn't do it. So, will not be trying Justin Cronin in the future anytime soon. We're good on that one. Currently reading, so let's do that, since I already told you guys that I'm currently trying to finish See What I Have Done by Sara Schmidt. Again, I want to know if Lizzie actually did the murders or if she didn't. History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. This book is actually due back on Tuesday because I cannot renew it anymore. I have finally sat down and gotten through more of this than I did the first time. You can see my little Slytherin bookmark. Love my wife. She knows I'm a Harry Potter person, hardcore Harry Potter, and I'm Slytherin, so yeah. Really good book. Talks about how you lose the first love of your life. I don't remember what happened to Theo that he dies, but Jackson and Griffin they're finally talking to one another. So hopefully I can finish this book up before Tuesday and see where that conversation went. Audiobook wise, I am listening to America, America by Ethan Canin. This book is set in New York in the early 1970s, and it's basically built up in a town where, kind of like most small towns are, where there is one benefactor who moved in and created this entire kind of, I don't really want to say utopian, but where the town relies on the benefactor for jobs and things to do in that town. And it's kind of an interesting take because a senator ends up involved in it, and it opens on the senator's funeral. I just started listening to this morning. That's why I'm remembering a lot of it. So it should be an interesting kind of, there's the bookmark of where I ended up the first time. I'm not there yet in the audiobook, but we'll see how it goes. I need to get through that to get through some of the new stuff on my list. So, told you guys what I'm currently reading and what I DNF'd this week, just because I couldn't do it. So, what I did end up reading this week, audiobook-wise, Moon Call by Patricia Briggs, start to her Mercy Thompson series. Very good first book, very well read, and I have the second book on hold through Overdrive. I also started and finished The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I like this book. It is very cute, very quirky, very good book to listen to while you're walking, because you get into the story and you don't really realize how far you've walked until you look up and it's like 2 hours later and you're not where you thought you would be 2 hours down the road. So, very good book to get lost into. Antigoddess by Kendare Blake. Or it's either Kendare Blake or Kendare Blair. I don't remember. But not the back part, the ending part of this was very easy to get into, very easy to get involved with. I wanted to know what happened at the end, but to set the story up, I just didn't care. So, I'll talk about that in my monthly wrap-up video. Just because it's, yeah. Other books that I finished this month, or this week. The Sleeper and the Spindle by Neil Gaiman. This is a very interesting twist on Sleeping Beauty, where you think it's the traditional story of Sleeping Beauty, but it's not, and it's only an hour and 10-minute long audiobook, so if you guys get a chance to check The Sleeper and Spindle out and you like Neil Gaiman stuff, go for it, because it is very interesting. Please do not believe that this is a Snow White, Sleeping Beauty relationship. It's not. It just happens to have those two characters in it. I also started to get back into the graphic novel stuff, so I picked up Blue Bloods by Melissa de la Cruz. The graphic novel, very short, obviously, because it's a graphic novel, but I really want to pick the series up once I get through some of these other series that I'm trying to get through right now. So, that's what I read and one book that's not on my phone that I'm not going to pull a picture of right now. Forever by Maggie Steifvater. I finished that series yesterday. I found myself liking the end of it. The build up to the end of it, not so much. But it was a good series. Not the best one that I've listened to this year, but it was a good series. So I am interested in picking up some more of her stuff later on down the road. And with that, new stuff that I picked up this week. We're going to start with the physical stuff first. Physical stuff. Like I just said, I'm on a graphic novel kick, so I picked up Monstrous by Mary J. Liu. Neil Gaiman recommended it on the back, so interested to see how East meets West in this book. Also picked up Paper Girls, Volume 1 by Brian Vaughan. I have the second one on hold at the library, so I like Brian Vaughan's writing. He's the guy that does Saga and did Why the Last Man, so should be an interesting pick. Wild Beauty by Anna Marie McLemore. I think that's how you say it. A lot of people have talked about this on BookTube, so I'm not going to reiterate what they said, but the cover is really pretty, and we'll see how the story goes. I also picked up Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson. This is about Tiger Lily from the Peter Pan story, and that's about all I remember of people saying stuff about it. So, should be an interesting kind of YA novel, too. Then I picked up Beartown by Frederick Backman. This is by the guy that wrote The Man Called Ove. I have not read that yet, so this will be my first introduction to this author. A couple people on BookTube had said that it's a really well-written book, so should be kind of interesting. So, all of these books should be interesting. Everything I read should be interesting. It's just if it's interesting to me or if it's interesting to other people. That's kind of where it's at. Also, I picked up The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan. The reason I picked the physical copy of this up is I kept getting this through Overdrive, and on Overdrive it's only 3 hours long, but on Amazon it is 9 hours long. So I just went ahead and picked up the physical copy because I got tired of returning it so often that this I can borrow for a really long time, and on Overdrive I only get 21 days, plus the versions were different, so there's that. That's the physical books this week. Audio books, I do own both of these, so I'm kind of feel like I'm cheating again, but The Girl on the Train and Eat, Pray, Love, that's my bookmark. I've gotten through this twice already, but I wanted to do the audiobook, so we'll see how that goes. I have not read this yet. Paula Hawkins, Into the Water, not necessarily how I'm going to feel about the audiobook for The Girl on the Train, but we'll see how that goes. I also picked up Odd Thomas by Dean Koontz. I have tried to read this several times before. I have not gotten through it. I get to the part where I know something bad's going to happen, and I can't do it because I've watched the movie a few too many times, so I just want to read the book to see how close to the movie it actually is. Then I picked up The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. This is the second book in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series. You're Never Weird on the Internet by Felicia Day. I liked her web series, The Guild. That had to be some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen. And she's a very good actress, and she's hilarious. So I'll be interested to see what her... I guess it's more of a memoir than an autobiography, but we'll see how that goes. I also picked up... What else did I pick up? Maybe that's all that I picked up this week. Okay, so with that, we're done. So that's the weekly wrap-up video for this week. I will leave the list of what I'm currently reading, read, new, in the description box below. So if you guys saw any on here that you like and I ran through them too fast, just they're down in the description box below. With that, have a great week, you guys, and I am off to work. Bye!